Hi everybody. I have been working on the OpportunityHack.io website using Gatsby and Netlify. So basically what you're going to be seeing today is the pre-deployment view, almost like a development view for the website before it gets deployed, since it's not entirely ready. So I'm going to be going through just kind of element by element. Won't spend too much time on some of it, since a lot of it is just basic information, and the only thing that really went into it was some basic HTML and CSS to get things set up. And a lot of what you're going to see is also placeholder images and text, just to kind of see how the website works and to make sure that everything is fully responsive, so that no matter what screen size the user is viewing the site on, it still looks good and still operates well with no crashes or anything like that. So when I started development on this, I just kind of went from the top down, starting with the main navigation bar, then the banner, and then these informational sections here. And I tried to hit the main points just by starting with what Opportunity Hack is, what we do, and kind of what's going on, what the goals are of the site. And obviously this is just placeholder text for now. I wanted to do something about Heroku, since that's what the software solutions are being deployed on, and since this website is going to have links to it, I figured just in case some users don't know what it is, then they can get some information about it here, and we can add links to certain things to help them just get acquainted with that software. And then down here we could do a section about open source projects and how they work, and how we use GitHub to store the code, and how the user might use GitHub to contribute or use the software on their own. And then this is kind of a preemptive section on the post thing that's not in the website yet. One of the requirements has something to do with post automation. So things that are happening with like hackathons or any other events going on around the world, there'll be a section on the site later about posts, and it's going to use a similar technology to what you're about to see. This is the main section right here that a lot of the development process has gone into. So these are the software solutions that are kind of make this conglomerated site for nonprofits and small businesses to use these softwares. So this is all placeholder stuff as well, just to show how everything is working. So first, before we get into that, the technology that this section uses is called Markdown. Markdown files, or how Gatsby uses Markdown files. Here, I'll open one up for you. So this section right here is called Frontmatter, and essentially these key value pairs are the metadata of a Markdown file. And Gatsby is really cool and really fast about parsing through this type of data, and you can do pretty much anything you want. Obviously there's strings, most of this is strings here, and then this is an array right here of strings. But you can also do integers. You can do like anything you want, any type of data here. But basically how my site is using Markdown is Gatsby parses through these main sections of what I thought a software solution would have. Some of these were mentioned by the sponsor here. Like these links are really important, and I wanted to have a logo image just in case whoever is uploading this to the site, when like a new software solution gets put on the site, they can have a logo for the software if it has one, a basic title for it, and this mini description is the description that you'll see on the homepage, just so that if there's a lot of information, you don't have really huge, like these thumbnails don't get super long, so you can have a condensed version that appears right here. And then the long description, we'll get into that later, just a little bit. So as of right now, these are the key value pairs that I have, but just upon feedback, I'm sure there'll be more important information to come. So basically what my site does here in this section is it parses through those files and automatically generates these elements here and styles them all automatically and just generates this entire section. And each one of those, like right here, this is parsed from the array, and each element in the array at each index creates one of these and puts it right underneath the mini description. And then right after that, depending on what links are present, these things are created automatically as well. And as you can tell from like these two side by side, if you go to this Markdown versus this Markdown, you'll see that this one has an empty array, this one has two things in it, this one has no links, and this one has both. And that's really important because you never know what the developer who's uploading things to the site, you never know what information is actually going to be available or what can be allowed to, or what the user can be allowed to see. So I wanted to prepare for any situation. So whether there is something there or not, the site can handle it. The only thing where that isn't really possible, or at least not easily yet, is the images. Gatsby and images is kind of clunky, so there's an automatic default image called no image in that Markdown file, or in the Markdown folder, and it basically is just a blank PNG. You can't just have an empty string there. Anyway, so the other cool part about this section is this button right here. Each one of these software solutions has its own automatically generated page. So if I click on that, actually let's go to one that looks a bit better, like this one right here probably looks better. Okay, so each one of these sections uses that same Markdown data to create an entire page dedicated to that software solution, plus more information that can't be stored in the thumbnail because it's just too much to look good. So as you can see, the title is up here. We have that extended description right here. The logo appears in between the two. The tutorial, you'll see that later. The features kind of outlays it right here too. And then the tutorial comes from, the YouTube link right here. So when a tutorial comes out for that software, all the person has to do is put the embed link right here where it says YouTube link, and that video automatically gets put there. So let's go back and see that. The links are also laid out right here. But I want to show you something else. Let's say this one probably does it too. Actually, okay. Try this one. Nope. Sorry, I can't remember which one doesn't have it. Okay, right here. So one cool thing about Gatsby too is that it kind of has dynamic content generation built right into it. So I figured out a way to determine what to display in certain sections, based on what information is present in the Markdown files. So instead of just having this section be huge but just no video being there because there's no link, you have this dynamic content generation right here that displays different HTML elements based on what's there and what's not. So you'll see the same thing right here, where if there was no features added, then it would say that there's no added features to this software. Right here you can just see this little description right here, and if there are no links, then this entire green section right here doesn't even show up. So I figured I would do that instead of saying that there are no links, simply because if there are no links, there's probably an important reason why. It's probably private, so I didn't even want to display that information at all. But that's just a fallback just in case there are no links. That's probably an unlikely scenario. But so if we go back to the home page, all of that is dynamically generated. And then down here, one of the other requirements has to do with a lightweight donation through PayPal. That is still in the works right now, but I have the section laid out. And then later, a footer that has like social media links and contact information will also be present. So I kind of have this to do. A lot went into these two: modernization of elements to make the site look really pretty and behave really well, and the handling of empty or bad data is something I still need to work on. There are still some sections that need that: the donations, social media, and then this site will eventually be deployed on Netlify, and Gatsby and Netlify already work together, but the site is not ready to be deployed, so that will be coming in the future. And after getting feedback on the video and the progress, there might be more Markdown fields to add. We might have to do a login and registration system, and the post automation system based on feedback as well. We'll see if that's 100% necessary. Okay, I believe that's it. Oh, I did want to show the responsiveness. So a lot went into the responsiveness of the website as well. So all of these HTML elements have media queries and other things that make it so no matter what screen size you're viewing the site on, everything looks good. So I can cram it all the way down to the bottom, everything, and like nothing breaks. And let's see it in a better view right here. So everything still, this would be like phone size. It's slightly bigger than a phone size. But even if you cram this down even more, it would still look good. And then if I go to one of these, everything looks good on that. And the video is also really important there too. It crams down. Okay, I believe that's all the progress I have made so far. There's still a lot of work to be done, but everything is going very well so far, and I hope to hear everybody's feedback on what you think of the site. Thank you very much.